Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
To cook. To cook. I'm going to cook dinner tonight. To cook is to prepare a meal using heat. Tonight I'm going to cook chicken marsala. I'm going to cook beef stew. To fry. To fry. I don't want to fry the chicken because it's too unhealthy. To fry something is to cook something in hot fat or oil. French fries are fried. And fried things are unhealthy. So when you eat fried foods, you want to eat in moderation. I don't, because fried stuff is delicious, but you should. To add. To add. Before you eat, you should taste the food and add salt if necessary. To add in this context means to add something else onto a dish, to put more of something onto a dish. So you might add salt to a dish or add some paprika to the chicken. To cut. To cut. Could you please cut up that beef? To cut is to use a knife to cut food, to make it into smaller pieces, usually so you can bite it or so you can mix it more easily. I cut my steak so I can eat it. You make food smaller into more bite-sized pieces by cutting. To mix. To mix. Mix all of the spices in a bowl before putting them in your dish. To mix is to combine. So you might combine or mix all of your ingredients together before cooking or doing something else with them. You might mix ingredients together to create a dish.
Breastfeed. All right, the first word is breastfeed. Breastfeed means feeding a baby using the milk from the mother. So there's like baby formula, which you can give to babies, or there's just natural milk, the mother's milk, which is breast milk, or what the verb that we use is to breastfeed a baby. So in a sentence, many mothers choose to breastfeed their children. In this sentence, you're not supposed to drink alcohol while breastfeeding. Change a diaper. The next expression is change a diaper. Change a diaper. So diapers are the pieces of cloth or like the disposable things that babies wear because babies, of course, don't have the ability to use the bathroom like a grown human or like even like children can. So babies need diapers. So to change a diaper means to take off a used diaper and put a new clean diaper on a baby. In a sentence, I had hoped that I'd never have to change a diaper in my life. Put on a bib. The next expression is to put on a bib. So a bib is like a protective cloth that goes right here. So actually at some restaurants, even for adults, like where there's a lot of oil, or even like rib restaurants, I think sometimes they'll give you, like customers, a bib. But for babies who are very messy eaters, you can put a bib on the baby to protect the baby's clothes while they eat. So in a sentence, put on his bib and give him some mashed carrots. Change clothes. The next expression is change clothes. Again, of course, you can use this for yourself or for adults. This is not a baby-only phrase. This is not a baby-only phrase. So to change clothes, if the baby's clothes are dirty or it's just time to, I don't know, you just need to change the baby's clothes, you can say, let's change the baby's clothes. That's all. So in a sentence, after her accident, she had to change her clothes. That's a weird out of context sentence. Sing a lullaby. The next expression is sing a lullaby. Sing a lullaby. Lullaby is a song that is especially to help a child go to sleep. So they're usually really like quiet, soft songs. They have like a nice, like soothing sound to them. So singing a lullaby is like a classic way to calm an upset child down. So, for example, let's see. When I was little, my mother used to sing me a lullaby before going to sleep. That's true. She sang me Edelweiss from The Sound of Music. My mom used to sing me lullabies that she'd made up on the spot. That if I ever become a mom, that's going to be me. Like, I'm just making up the lullaby. I'm going to be like, Go to sleep. I'm really tired. I hope you go to sleep now. I think you should. The first expression is I think you should blah blah blah. I think you should is a very neutral, not so strong, not so weak way to give advice. I think you should get a different haircut. I think you should find a new job. I think you should give me all your money. Well, can't hurt. I think you should is a very typical way to give advice, or just I think is okay, or you should is okay too. In this sentence, I think you should find a new apartment. Why don't you? The second expression is why don't you blah blah blah. So it uses the negative, why don't you? So that means it's a bit softer, it's a bit more of a weak way to give advice. So why don't you take a day off? Or why don't you help me with my homework? That's sort of a sneaky way to give advice and ask for help at the same time. Why don't you, I don't know, find a new hobby, for example? So these are kind of weak ways to give advice. In this sentence, why don't you get a pet? Have you thought about blah, blah, blah. So have you thought about, you're giving your advice, but this is a question for the listener. So have you thought about blah, blah, blah? You're sharing your opinion, but you're kind of making it sound like maybe it was the listener's idea, or maybe the listener has thought of this thing before. So this is also a fairly soft way to give advice. So like, have you thought about going to a different city? Have you thought about moving in with your friends? Something like that. So these are probably going to be questions that are a little bit more serious. Like, I don't feel like we would use this for really casual or really light questions, but maybe for something a little more serious and a soft way to give advice. In this sentence, have you thought about looking for a new job? I don't know if is a good idea. So this is kind of a negative way to give advice or to share your opinion. It's I don't know if blah, blah, blah is a good idea. So you're giving someone advice not to do something. So for example, I don't know if getting a pet is a good idea, or I don't know if starting a new project is a good idea. These are different ways that you can say you don't think or you think that the other person should not do something, but this is a soft way to express it. In this sentence, I don't know if taking a year off work is a good idea. Maybe you should try. The next one is a suggestion to try something. So this is a soft but kind of encouraging expression. Maybe you should try blah, blah, blah. Maybe you should try blah, blah. So you are encouraging someone to attempt something, to try something. Maybe not forever, but just for a short period of time. So maybe you should try volleyball. Maybe you should try playing sports. Maybe you should try spicy food. Maybe you should try something. So it's encouragement to do something new. This is kind of positive, but it's a fairly soft way to give your advice. Here, maybe you should try studying a new skill.
A table for 3, please. A table for 3, please. You tell them the number of people that you are total so that the host can bring you to an appropriate table. A table for 2, please. A table for 5, please. Could I please see a menu? Could I please see a menu? Usually, menus are given to you as soon as you sit down at your table. But if that's not the case and you need to ask, this is a polite way to do it. Could I please see a menu? I'd like to try this dish. I'd like to try this dish. When looking at a menu, hopefully you'll find something you want to eat. I'd like to try this dish. Could you leave out the onions? Could you leave out the onions? If there's an ingredient in the dish that you're ordering that you don't want, you can always ask the waiter if it could be prepared without that ingredient. So for example, I might say, could I get the burger but with no cheese? Could you pass the salt? Could you pass the salt? When you're at a restaurant, especially if you're at a big table with a lot of people, you might not always be able to reach things. So you would ask, Could you pass me the salt? Could you pass me the ketchup? Could you pass me another napkin?
Sing along to a favorite song. All right, so the first tip for improving your pronunciation is to sing along to a favorite song. So if you, I should add though, this favorite song should be in your target language. So if you're studying English, pick a favorite English song and sing along to that song. Or try to sing to the song just from memory too. So singing along to your favorite song can help you with pronunciation, can help you with the rhythm sometimes of the language you're trying to learn. So it can be really fun and it can be a good way to practice your pronunciation. In a sentence, I like singing along to my favorite songs. Read out loud. The next tip for your pronunciation is to read out loud. So reading out loud, you can choose something that's interesting for you in English, if English is the language you're studying. So pick something, maybe it's a news article, or maybe it's a book you're interested in. Maybe there's an author you're interested in. Find something in your target language, in English, and try reading it out loud. So don't just read in your mind, but read the words out loud. Speak them so that you can get comfortable pronouncing those words. And you can try reading the same passage or the same sentence multiple times to make it smoother. So this can be a really good tip I think it also improves your natural ability to pick up grammar too, because if you're reading something like in a book, for example, you can kind of pick up the natural rhythm of grammar, and you also slowly get a feeling for the correct ways that words should connect together. So this, I think, is a really good tip. In a sentence, I sometimes read out loud to practice pronunciation. That's true. Repeat lines you hear in TV shows. The next tip is to repeat lines you hear or the words you hear in TV shows or movies, things like that. So this means not only words, don't only repeat single vocabulary words. Yes, maybe you find a vocabulary word that is really interesting or it sounds funny or something like that. But by repeating a full sentence or a full line in a TV show or in a movie, you're putting the words together. So not just one word, but making a whole sentence. So feeling kind of the flow of your language that you're studying. So this can be a better way to actually practice making sentences and repeating sentences instead of just words. So you can repeat after characters in TV shows. I sometimes do this when I'm like watching Japanese TV. I'm like, and then I try and spit it back out. It's hard to do sometimes when it's like the first time you've heard a word or the first time you've heard a grammar point, but you can still understand that sentence. It's interesting, so try to say it. It's kind of fun, actually, I think. In a sentence, try repeating lines from TV shows to practice. Practice speaking in phrases, not single vocabulary words. The next tip, this is very similar to my TV show tip, is to practice speaking in phrases, not in vocabulary words, not just single vocabulary words. Even if you're not repeating lines from TV shows, when you practice speaking, don't just speak in nouns. So sometimes, for example, I'll hear people just use noun, like they'll use a noun and maybe a verb, like I, tomorrow, beach, something like that. And yes, we can probably guess based on that how, like the meaning, the speaker's meaning, but you need to practice making a whole sentence. So yes, you know those words, I, tomorrow, and beach, and the listener can probably guess what you mean, but you need to practice all those little words in the middle, like I'm going to the beach tomorrow. So make a full sentence. Practice making full sentences. Don't only practice single vocabulary words. Make the whole line. It's really good. Sometimes I think my students get irritated. Like I force them to practice full sentences. Like, so I'll say like, have you ever been to Germany? And they'll say, yes. I'm like, okay, for the purposes of practice, can you make a full sentence? And they'll say, I have been to Germany. Like, that's an extreme example, but like I try to push that, making the full sentence. It's silly sometimes, but just trying to do that. Okay, so in a sentence, speaking in entire phrases is helpful for practicing the rhythm of a new language. Speak a lot with your teacher and ask them to be strict with you. Onwards. Okay, so the next tip is to speak a lot with your teacher and ask them to be strict with you. So this is kind of 2 tips in one. 1, speak with your teacher. So if you have a teacher, make sure you're speaking in their class if wherever possible. Sometimes I'll have students join my class and maybe they feel shy or whatever, and they don't speak very much. But please speak with your teacher so that your teacher can correct you. Your teacher can give you, at least if they're a native speaker, or maybe even if they aren't a native speaker, your teacher can give you corrections. And if you don't speak, your teacher cannot help you in most cases. So please speak with your teacher. And if you like, you can tell them, please be strict about my pronunciation. So sometimes people will say, please help me with my pronunciation specifically. And then I can stop them every time they make a mistake, and we practice that sound. Especially TH sounds, like the th, like using your mouth a little bit differently can be really uncomfortable for some people. But if your teacher can point out those things, like TH sounds, the, this, that, these, those TH sounds, ending ER sounds. Practicing those with your teacher can be a really good way to work on your pronunciation. So in a sentence, speak a lot with your teacher. They can correct you and help you improve. Concert. The first word for talking about music is concert. Concert is a live show. Concert is, the performance is happening in front of your eyes. So concerts are really popular worldwide, I think. Depending on where you live, you might hear them called live shows, but usually in American English, we just say concert, a concert. So in a sentence, I'm going to a concert this weekend. To see in concert. The next expression is the verb we use for a live show. So the next expression is to see in a concert, or to see in concert. So we use the artist's name along with this phrase. So for example, I'm going to see Coldplay in concert. I'm going to see Adele in concert. So you use I'm going to see artist name in concert, or in a concert. What did I say? In concert or in a concert. Both are okay. So in a different sentence, I'm going to see my favorite band in concert, meaning live. Who do I want to see in concert? I want to see Michael Jackson in concert. Yeah, I would have loved to see him in concert. He's my favorite. To listen to music. To listen to artist. The next word, or the next phrase, is to listen to plus music, or to listen to an artist. So you can use this verb with the type of music or with the specific artist or band or group that you like. So I like to listen to rock music. I like to listen to pop music, whatever. Another sentence is, I like listening to Beyonce. So you can use to listen to or listening to. Both are fine here. I like listening to funk. It's fine. I like listening to funky artists. It's fine. I like listening to Queens of the Stone Age. It's fine. All of these are great. Who do you listen to? I listen to lots of things. To write a song, to write music. The next expression is to write a song or to write music. So if you want to make music yourself, you can say write a song, which just means one song, maybe 3 or 4 minutes usually in popular music, or to write music in general. So you can use both of these expressions. Song is more specific, music is more general. So in a sentence, my friend started writing songs recently. Or in a different sentence, writing music is really fun. Track. The next expression is track. So we can use song, yes. But for example, when you look at an album, like on iTunes or maybe like a CD, for example, each song is assigned a number. That's the track number. So we can say, I like track number 3 or track 3. We use track to talk about a song. So you can say this is a good song or this is a good track. Both are okay to use. Song and track are both fine. So in a sentence, I really like that track from his album.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.